So, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to make these Paisho pieces. Now, it took me a bit of a while to get through the learning curve of this, because this is my first time actually making these Paisho pieces. But, after I got through it, they actually came out pretty nice. And I keep spinning. Well, I don't want to be spinning. Right. So this is how it ended up coming out. But that was it took me a bit of a learning curve to get to this point. My first couple attempts were a bit more off. They ended up just coming out as like a stencil, which I just kind of colored in myself. Well, so like, that doesn't look that bad. I was kind of happy with it at first. But then I actually got it working right, and I much prefer these. I'm probably gonna go get some more wooden discs so I can make more of these. But for now, I'm gonna show you how I made these. How I at least made these. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a Lotus tile design and resize it to be what we want for our tiles. At this point, I put about 6 tiles on a sheet trying to save paper. However, I found that does not really work, and so it's actually easier to do it individually. We then take our wax paper and cut it to be as close to the size of a piece of paper as we can, as we have to feed it through our printer. This part took me a little bit while, but next all we're going to do is print our design onto the wax paper. Make sure that your printer knows you're printing on wax paper, not printer paper, because it does see it differently, and if not, it will jam. See what I did here, how I set it on the table? Already, that's wrong. You want to get it straight from the printer, and you don't want to have the ink touch anything until it hits the surface of the wood. Then you take one of your discs, and you line up the ink transfer with the disc, and you just rub it on. In this shot, I am using my student ID card, but that's not really necessary. At this point, I thought it needed to be really rubbed on there, but really, like, a simple touch would just push it on. It's not that hard. Because I let some of the ink dry, I only got some of the dark ink spots that were still on the wax paper to transfer over. So I used that as a stencil and just traced out the outline of the lotus. And I just went with a Sharpie and made the ring on the outside. Here you can see I've made a few craft stencils. Some are a bit darker than others, like one of them actually came out to be very close to what I was wanting initially. And I'm experimenting with different colors of Sharpie and how they sync with the wood. I personally find that the yellow works best out of these. It took a few tries of just feeding it through, but eventually I got it right. You just gotta be sure that you get it straight from the printer here without the ink touching anything, and then just put it straight on, and it just transfers so easily. This one is kind of worn because the wax paper had some wrinkles on it, but it kind of makes it look like a worn old piece, so I kind of like it. With the other ones, I just kind of used as a stencil and kind of drew my own, and that still looked pretty good, I think. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how these came out, and yeah, I hope you try it.